So this morning, we will start with the first discussion proper on an introduction to the subject matter. Okay, an introduction to globalization. So today we will be talking about, of course, the first we will tackle on the ACR model, the one that I have mentioned to the classes last meeting. Then, of course, we will proceed with the definitions of globalization. But before that, we will, of course, acknowledge the fact that the term globalization is not uniformly understood by the scholars. Okay? And those who are studying globalization are, well, short of being confused of what the term really means. So we will have to get through some of the definitions of globalization. Okay? But before that, I just want to inform the class of the fact that this subject has a book, and this is how it looks like. The book is available in the University of San Carlos. It's in Talamban, I think. I guess sa kuan at ay di masana bookstore diha, but I think nani sa ilawom sa Bansel building. I just forgot the name of the office, but you can just inquire. Okay, so I will also ask my department director about this also. Uh, the book. By the way, before we start with all the discussions, we once you will have the book, you go over the table of contents. I did not follow the order of the table of contents, okay? But all of the topics that we will discuss in TCW for the whole semester are already in the book. So wala na ako gisunod ang hanay. No. Um, I put globalization and global governance, if you recall, as the last topic together with global citizenship. And so we will start with the introduction, of course, and followed by the globalization, economic globalization, under which you have trade and finance, you have the markets, you have the IMF, the World Bank, etc. Okay, so we maintain the essence, but we just rearrange the accidents. Okay, so muna ang ato ang caveat as far as our the flow of the discussion is concerned. Okay? Now, next week is already, I think February na next week, di ba? May see the calendar. Okay. So, today is 25. So, next week, uh, February 1 will be Wednesday. Okay? So, 1 week from now, pwede na ta magsugod sa atong face-to-face nga classes. But I will just inform the class which particular date on February would we really will start the face-to-face classes as mandated. Okay? So, just keep yourself posted anytime from today until next week. Okay? Though I am more inclined nga habang dili takuan, dili alang-alang ba, we will just start on February 7 lang siguro, no? Then I am planning that all the Fridays will either be synchronous or asynchronous depending upon the topic and the activities related to them. Okay? So mahog siguro siya na uh, ang Fridays, sure siguro, no? As of now, this is what I am thinking. Fridays, but again, as I have said, depende man sa good sa inyong major. Pero ako may first ninyo na class, di ba? Sakto ba? Sakto ba to? Ako yung first class ninyo?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Sa amin.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir. And then your next class is? What is your next subject, man?
Purposive communication.
Purposive communication. Do you have a major class anytime during the day?
Yes, sir, in the afternoon, sir.
In the afternoon, but unsa ilang decision sa major ninyo kano sa mo magsugod og face to face? If na,
For, so, ay, isa pa ang nag-ingon, sir, sa mo ang cost accounting, February 6.
February 6 po sila. Sige, February 6 lang punta. Kaya habang dili masayang ba nga nang
Sige, sir.
mukuan bitaw. Yeah, we will just have it on Monday. That would be a Monday by the way. No, Monday ba? Yeah, Monday. Monday, February 6 lang habang diretso-diretso na inyong pagpuyo diri sa school, di ba? I do not know sa kuan kisa gani na kisa ba ako na-assignan sa inyong class man o ako'y kopya diri sa ako ang PC. Who's your teacher sa PC? Kisa man si Dr. Nana ba? Dr. Pailago or si Ma'am Mendoza or whoever. Kalimot man ko kasi akong i-assign ana.
Okay, check niya, sir.
Palihog daw.
Si Ma'am Charity Torano, sir, sa
Charity
PC.
Texon. Dr. Texon. Okay, so sunod ay ni Ma'am Chat. Did she already um, discuss with you sa inyong schedule sa face-to-face? Wala, pasad.
Not yet, sir. Mag-meet
Ah,
kami online in karong
ah,
Friday.
okay. So in my case, I will just have to follow sa major. So if you will start meeting face-to-face with your majors on February 6, then I will just follow sa February 6 lang santa. Okay? Habang uniform na lang, once you are here, you can already continue staying in the university, in the campus until the afternoon. So, kana na lang. No? So, I hope the other classes would also be, yes, Kimberly?
Ay, excuse me, sir. So, in
Yeah,
the Wednesday, sir, kay wala na, February 8.
sa Wednesday. What do you mean
Yes, sir.
Wednesday? Kuan?
Dili na mag-meet.
Sa kuan? Okay, okay. So, yeah, hindi lang sa tamagmay sa February 1. Okay? So, kay Apiki man, Wednesday naman na siya, di ba? So, we only have 1 or 2 days, that is Wednesday or a Friday, because I am planning actually nga ang Fridays will either be the asynchronous and the synchronous meetings na to, no? Um, Fridays. So, apiki man na siyang February 1. So, we will just have to start on February 6. So, in the meantime, I will continue with the discussions on the topics until February 1 and 3. Okay? Then, on February 7, because I promised the classes that I will discuss the pertinent class policies, grading system, the rubrics for the final deliverable and how to do about it. Okay? Because I feel nga mas nindot siya, mas maayos siya i-discuss face to face. No, whatever issues and whatever questions that the students might raise can easily be addressed kay face to face man, no? So anala na then by that time kay February start naman yun na siya. I will just still abide by the majors, okay? The major classes. Kay mo man sa na among gisabutan sa OGM, no? That we will abide with the majors. So if the majors will have their will start their face to face on that day, so I too will follow. Sunod lang ko, no? Ana lang. So I think that is settled, no? Now, with regards to the Canvas class, my colleagues have already told me that the Canvas is already assigned to us. There is already the tiles of the Canvas. I will have to tinker it this afternoon lang sa because Classico almost whole day. And yesterday we were still, doing those coordinator stuff, assigning subjects to teachers. Okay, so once the Canvas tiles are already available, so you may go over also the Canvas because the activities and the outline of the topics will be shared through the Canvas. So kani siyang Google Meet, as I have mentioned to the classes last Monday, that mas kusog man ni siya, mas dali man tamaan ni maka-open kontra sa katong sa Canvas. So ngawi lang ta mag-asynchronous o ngawi lang ta mag-synchronous sa Canvas. And the announcements will also be through Canvas or both Canvas and the announcement will be here. This is the primary platform for the announcements. Primary platform, Google Classroom. Kanya importante nga mga announcements, it will also be in Canvas. Okay? So there are activities, there are announcements kanang mga 11th hour announcements. Uh, our primary platform will be the Google Classroom. Okay? So nganhin lang mo diretso. If ever you have queries, you can always send your emails, okay? Except during Saturday afternoon and the whole of Sunday. So emails that are sent on Sundays will be addressed on Mondays unless, okay? Unless it is a very very important matter. Okay? So kana lang. But anyway, once we start sa kuha na to face-to-face class, things could be at least as far as the concerns are your concerns are concerned, no, uh, it can easily be addressed diha kay naa magkita ra man sad ta, no. And by the way, all my classes Monday to Friday are all in the downtown campus. There is a main. So right now I am holding my classes in, no, our faculty room, and our faculty room for the Office of the General Education is located here in the third floor, Iskina, okay? So the corner sa AD o sa JW. Iwa ba ni siya isipra wala may karatula diya sa gawas nga OGM ni siya, but I think it is, you can notice this office once the teachers will start coming in. Okay? So this morning we will start with an introductory discussion on the topic of globalization. So as I have said, we start with the ACR, the definitions, etc. Okay. So if you have questions, you just uh, encode it in the in-call messages or the chat box. Okay. So let me share my screen. Okay, so I hope you started visiting the downtown campus already so that by the time we start our face-to-face classes, diretso na mamusulod sa inyong classroom, matultulan na ninyo. Anyway, I think your classes are either in the EH, the low building, or in the main campus, the old main building, which is either dito sa AD or sa GR. Okay? So anyway, our this morning, let us look into the following. Okay, so the contemporary world, as I have mentioned last Monday, is a new subject that was implemented only in 2018, with CMO 20 series of 2013, which ordained the overhaul of the tertiary general education subjects or curriculum. So at the heart of the subject is the phenomenon of globalization. So you might notice, class, so starting grade 1 until now that you are in the tertiary level already, you might observe that the subjects that we have been taken and we have taken and we are taking right now are those that are well experienced by us, di ba? So, how is the phenomenon of globalization experienced by humanity across time? Okay? So, we will explore on that. In the meantime, let us have the ACR model first, okay? Or the awareness, choice, and responsibility model as a way to, to make decisions, as a way to understand, as a way to analyze the present system of the world, the present events, the day-to-day events that concerns us, that affects our day-to-day lives. Many things are happening. Some are subtle, some are easily perceived, okay? And some are happy events, others are challenges, others could be something that is painful, okay? But nonetheless, these are human experiences. Okay? So, human experiences, things that affects us, okay? We have to be aware, no? So, dapat aware ka, kahibaw ka nga naana nahitabo na siya, no? So, things like ngano man mahal man ang sibuyas Bombay karong panahon na. Okay? Sa may hinungdan ka nganong mahal ang sibuyas Bombay. Kumusta man ang atong pagpuyo diri sa Cebu City? Okay? Compare, especially for those of you who are not from Cebu City, those who are not from Lapu-Lapu, Mandaue, uh, Talisay, and Minglanilla, which of course part of the territorial description we call as Metro Cebu, no? Kumusta ang atong pagpuyo diri so far, especially if you are from the province and after 2 years nga nag-online ta, here we are coming to Cebu to continue our college education. Dili ta taga diri sa Cebu City pero kay wala may maayo na accounting school gawas diri. So mo ni pinakaduol sa ato. So we are here in the University of San Carlos, which necessarily entails to that we will have to relocate to Cebu City, saying goodbye temporarily for the comforts of home. Okay? So ata diri niya makadistinguish ta sa amo, okay raman among life didto, wa may traffic sa amo, wala may abog sa amo. 24/7 man ang kusog nga tubig dire, mumata man mig sayo kay magpaag magsangga mig tubig sa amo. Bangon naman kog mukaon, ngabi kinahanglan magyud ko mangitag asa ko mukaon, etc., etc., etc. Okay? And here, being away from your homes, from your families, okay? Atong mga dili taga dire, you will realize that you will start budgeting the allowance that your parents will give you, okay, for your day-to-day consumption existence there sa Cebu, no? Aware ka la, ang akong 500 mo man ni ako mapalit, no? Sa una, di man ta magtagad ana because we have our parents to make the budget for us. Igo ra ta mga DL ra kita sa tua, mo dawat ta taglimpyo, no? But now we are here and you are adults, being 18 years old and above already, and you start to look into the world differently as you used to be. Suddenly, it just occur to you, things just appear to you, nga inani, mandi ay ang life. Okay? So, awareness. You know what's going on. What you think, what you perceive, what your senses had felt, what your mind have been thinking of or has grasped of what's going on, no, must be in consonance with reality. It must be in agreement with the truth, and the truth is what is going on actually. Okay? So, kanang kuan, labi na, you might not be living near the school, so every day you will have to commute from where you stay, from your houses to the University of San Carlos downtown campus and back again. Okay? And you will experience the difficulty of commuting. Lisod pagsakay, ug nakasakay na lisod pag yun kay standing ovation. Or huot man gani, bisag 12 ra, maabot yun mo 14 sa diha sa jeep. The usual things that we experience here. And then the same thing happened later on once you are dismissed, manguli mo sa inyo, abtan mo 20, 30, 40 usa ka oras or more kay maghuwat lang habang makasakay ka pauli sa inyo. And then huot pa gyud kayong sakyanan, unya gawas nga huot ang sakyanan, traffic pa gyud kaayo. Okay? Especially if you are living padung dapit sa may Talamban or past University of San Carlos Talamban campus, which of course every afternoon ngilingig yun ang traffic diha. Okay? So, what's going on? Okay, awareness. Kabaw ka nga, mauna dahil na ang life ron. Now, given this information, given the fact that you know given this knowledge of what's going on, knowledge of things that is, okay, and that knowledge of things that was. So, mamili ka, no? Mamili ta. And every day is always a day of choices. Every hour of our lives is always an occasion to choose, to select. Okay? So, maski ka nang pag-decide nimo nga, okay, I will take accountancy. Okay? I will take accountancy. So, imo nang choice, kadaghan kay sa kurso nganong accountancy man jud imong gipili, no? So, because you know something, you are aware. Number one, na accountancy nga kurso. Ikaduha, you must be aware, well, depending upon, of course, sa school, but in the University of San Carlos, ay mo sa nang choice, kung nga ka magpa-enroll. And you are aware that it is not easy if it is in USC. Okay? Unang moingon ng ako mga estudyante sa una sa engineering, if it is easy, it's not USC. Okay? So, it was also your choice to have your accountancy course in the University of San Carlos in spite of the fact that you are aware of all the challenges that lies ahead. Okay? So example lang na siya. Then once you have chosen the course, okay, apil na gyud ni sa akong desisyon nga kinahanglan mo matakog sayo, kinahanglan dugay kong matug kay magtuon ko sa kuan sa mga subjects nako, cost accounting, unsa pa na diha, SPAS, etc. Nya mag-recitation pag yun may sa low subject nako, nya di ko katubag, nya nasi crush diha nagtan-aw nako, okay? And so forth and so on, no? So you are aware of what's of your choices. You choose because you are aware. Okay? So you have your choice already, nagpili ka mo ni imong gipili. So you must be accountable of your choices. Ang imong mga choices mubalik na nimo by way of responsibility. Mubalik na ang atong mga pinili by way of accountability. So we must be conscious of the fact that our actions will always have its consequences, either for good or for ill, and these consequences will always affect us and the people around us. Okay? So, kana siya. So life is just like that. Life is ACR, no? You must be aware, you must have some choices, and of course, once you have made your choice, you own your choice. You are accountable, you are answerable of the consequences of that choice, whether the consequence is good or not so good or not so bad, or it could be bad, or it could be worse. Inana pa dyan na siya class ang life. Okay? So, I hope, since our class is 8:30 to 9:30, I hope nga nakaligo na mo. Okay, tugnaw ba ya kay kaganina? So, I hope nga nakagraduate na mo anang atong gitawag nga goat syndrome. Okay? Because that is also a choice. In spite of, yeah, our senses had felt the cold sa atong kabuntagon, and in spite of that fact, congratulate yourself kung humana ka naligo. Okay? Naway palaban og init tubig. And I hope you have also eaten your breakfast by now, because by the time we will start the face-to-face classes, and perhaps some of you, your schedules are straight, no? So, food is life. So, dili pwede nga dili mo mukaon sa inyong breakfast before coming to class. And also, of course, you already have freshened up yourself, okay, for the toils of the day ahead of us. That is part of being aware and having our choices and being responsible for those things that we have decided. Okay? So in globalization, there are things that have been decided by people away from us. Decisions that are made miles and miles away from us, but yet we are directly affected by them. Example class, kanang presyo sa lana. Okay? The prices of petroleum and oil products. It is not decided by the Philippine government nga mumahal na o mabarato na. So you must be observant enough, and you have observed that the prices of fuel products, oil products, petroleum products are fluctuating. Okay? So these are decisions that are not made here, but these are decisions made by those that are producing that product, depending upon the supply and the demand and some other political considerations. Okay? Unang mainana na, and that will always have some domino effect on the other commodities. So much so that those economic managers of the country must be able to understand and cope, solve whatever problems these things might cause as far as the countries are concerned. Okay, so kumusta naman ang atong life ron? Hapit na mag-usa ka tuig human sa eleksyon. Okay? So kana siya. Anyway, now going back to globalization, okay, which as provided for by CMO 20 is the heart of the discussion for TCW. Okay? As I have said, we have to acknowledge the fact that globalization is a contested term. Okay? So there are several descriptions, there are several observations, there are several definitions of globalization. Lahi-lahi nga pagsabot ug unsa ang globalization. So different scholars coming from different academic backgrounds and fields will have some differing observations, will have some differing descriptions and analysis, etc., about the phenomenon of globalization. Especially so that globalization is not something that occupies space and has weight. No, globalization is not something that is physically tangible, no, something nga magunita nato sama sa libro, dili man na ang title siguro sa libro about, or ang content about globalization, but the book itself is not globalization, no. So globalization is a phenomenon, globalization is an event, globalization is a historical experience. Okay, so it goes along with humanity. How did it came to be? What globalization really is something that puzzled the academics. Okay, so as Rich would tell us, it has been in heavy current usage. But even those who are using the term globalization, studying the term globalization, okay, are still confused and baffled by what it really is all about. Okay? So, a very good metaphor for this realization would be Aesop's fable about the elephant and the blind men. Okay? So, accommodated here to apply to the scholars of globalization. Okay. So, makita natong ang globalization kanang elephant. Ya, kana sila nagunit-gunit diha are the scholars. So, if you have uh, heard of the story of the blind men who went to the king and requested the king that they want to see, quote unquote, an elephant. So the king granted them, an elephant was brought before them, and they were led to the elephant. And after touching the elephant or a part of the elephant, the king called them one by one to describe before the king what an elephant is according to the experiences that they had, using the sense of touch, of course, and perhaps, yeah, using the sense of smell and using the sense of hearing. Okay, I do not know if they tasted the elephant raw. But nonetheless, so mo na siya. Ang atong makita depende sa usahay sa ato ang mga experience o sa ato ang kanang perspective o sa ato ang mga orientation. So, look, um, political scientists, for example, how do they look at globalization? So they will usually see it from the perspective of politics. And politics is about who gets what, when, and how, according to Harold Laswell. Okay, main ana. So, the blind men here are just focusing on that aspect of the creature, of the elephant, that they are or they were led to touch. So the same is true sa atong mga scholars ron. Dako kayo na nga phenomenon, dako kayo na nga event, dako kayo na nga experience ang globalization. Pero ang mga religious scholars, ang mga ideologues, ang mga economists, environmentalists, sociologists, anthropologists, political scientists, uh, engineers, perhaps accountants, see globalization differently. So because they see globalization differently from a different angle and perhaps stubbornly stick to that angle where they are, muna ang lahi-lahi ang ilahang description sa globalization. Okay? However, perhaps you are familiar with this. Okay? I hope you are familiar with this. I just forgot sa Tunisia nga episode sa The Last Airbender. Okay? The Legend of Aang. So it was that nga um, Uncle Iroh was lecturing Prince Zuko about the reality of different uh, groups of people around them. Okay? So mo po na diha sa globalization. We realize that we are not alone. We realize the fact that we derive wisdom, learning, truths coming from different sources. Okay? From different tribes, from different places, from different times, from different religions, from different economic status, etc., etc. Okay? And these are all integrated into one. And so, in a way, we call that is also a sort of globalization. Okay? So, it is important to draw wisdom from many different places. If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale. So that is according one of the famous lines of one of my favorite characters in that Last Airbender, The Legend of Aang. Okay? So muna iyang giingon ni Uncle Iroh. And perhaps that is really true, no? We derive things coming from different places. We learn many things because we are exposed to different sources. Okay? Now, so because globalization as a concept is difficult to define. Okay? So we make use of metaphors of globalization. So perhaps you recall and review that in your senior high or perhaps elementary and high school, you were talking about figures of speech, especially in literature. So metaphor is a figure of speech where we compare two similar things without the use of as or like. So an example would be when the Lord Jesus, for example, said in the Gospel of Saint John, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the light. Okay? So, or when you say to your loved ones, you are the sunshine of my life. Okay? Metaphor. So, sa globalization, we use of metaphors in order to understand it more and grasp the idea of what globalization is all about. Of course, again, from our perspective. Okay? So, kani siya nga picture class could be a metaphor of globalization. No? So, you are dealing here with what? You're talking about, so kana, sa una class, ang mangga, hangtod ron pagkaon. Pero you have another meaning of what manga is, di ba? And comics naman na ron. You read it from your gadgets. Okay? So here is a representative of that manga, which is from One Piece, nga ang hangtod karon wala pa nahuman. No? Then, of course, another metaphor would be this. Okay? So this is my metaphor of globalization. What's going on? Okay. Sigmoingon mo class upon seeing this picture ayaw ko na sa world or kanang inyong giingon nga sa kadaghan akong problema na puno pa jud ni siya. Okay? But because of globalization, because of the advancement of technology, you can just do that, right? Okay? You can always change how a result looks like, okay, in the contemporary world. Okay. Anyway, so what are some definitions of globalization? Okay, first from Enriquez. Okay, you just read it. Okay, so it is a historical event. Okay, but according to Enriquez, the year 1989 was something decisive. Okay, the year 1989 was something important if we trace the history of globalization because during the time, communism as an ideology uh, has fallen. Okay, we will discuss more on that part later when we will reach the topic on the history of globalization. Okay? So it was not happening before. It just happened sometime in uh, world history. Okay? So pag-abot sa 1989, boom, ni kusog siya maayo, no? Na mature siya ni was siya na unleashed in 1989. So I want you to perhaps Google in your free time what was 1989 all about as far as the world is concerned. Okay. Unsa man gyud tong mga major events sa atong panahon na and other world events that led to the event of 1989. Ina naman to yung mga panghitabo starting 1986, 87, 88 and before that, no? So kana. Then Friedman would tell you that it is the inexorable integration of markets, nation states, technologies. Okay. So these are the uh, actors, the stakeholders. So you have markets. So sa may nasa markets, nation states. Who are the nation states? And sa technology, unsa may mga important, unsa man yun nahitabo sa technology aspect sa kinabuhi. Okay? So because of technology, things had become easier for human beings. Okay? So kani sila nga inyong makita diha, individuals, corporations, and nation states are the players in the global arena. Okay? They are the stakeholders in the global arena. So whatever happens, appeal sila. Okay? Then, of course, it is a transplanetary process. Okay? So when we say transplanetary here, it does not mean it is not about the activities between planets like Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn and the planet Earth. Dili inana ha. Okay? So we are just concerned here of what's going on in planet Earth. Okay? So objects, places, information, structures they encounter to create and barriers or expedite those flows. So unsa man na sila nga mga barriers, etc. No? Unsa man na sila nga mga multi-directional flows. Okay, mga nagsugat-sugat, no? Nga mga kuan, mga panghitabo, people, etc. Sumura ni siya kulon sa amo kaayo, no? Okay. So according to Haywood, it is a complex web of interconnectedness. Okay? So decisions that are made in the uh, in the for a while class. Sige lang. They are made, as I have said earlier, katong mga decision nga gihimo wala diri sa Pilipinas but we are directly affected with these things. Okay? Then, Okay, according to the uh, Dictionary of Critical Theory, it is about diffusion of cultural products, streamlining of international manufacturing and trade, standardization of global financial markets, prevalence of new media technology capable of simultaneous real-time transmission, okay, of whatever and everything, okay, around the world. So muna siya ang iyang nakita diha sa kuan kanang tawag ani sa kanang world, no, around us. Okay. So expansion and intensification of social relations and consciousness across world, time, and space according to Steger. Okay. Then of course, uh, well, in a nutshell, we can kini na pud siyang kuan. Sorry for my bias sa last bender. Okay? I'm just a great fan of that because philosophical jud kay siya, ganahan ko sa, sa iyang dialogue, just like the Lord of the Rings and of course the Hobbit. Anyway, so everything is connected. If you are familiar with that episode, katong title ani kay The Swamp. Okay? So we are just connected. Everybody is connected. And that is what globalization is all about. So in the present order of things, class, everything is already connected, whether you like it or not. No? In fact, this very activity, this very class that we have now, online class, you are there in your respective houses, respective places. We are distant from each other because we are not in the traditional classroom that we used to be. Okay, except perhaps by the start of February. So inana. Now, so kana siya. Um, so we are interconnected. We are dependent on many things now, no? So kana ang phenomenon nga ato ang nakita ron because of globalization. And since this phenomenon of globalization had touched the core of our lives, okay, it has shaken the essence of humanity across the years. Mauna, nag-appeal na siya sa atuang curriculum. Okay? We study what is going on. No? We look into what is going on. We analyze what is going on. And for good or for ill, we can derive something. No? We can get something from these things. Okay? So these are our references. Okay? And that would be all for that topic. By the way, class, I will share to you the PDF form of this PowerPoint anytime this week. Okay? But once we start our face-to-face classes, the the sharing of the PDF form of the PowerPoint will no longer be normalized, no, will no longer be practiced because we are already meeting face to face. You can take down notes, and some of you would be taking pictures of the slides. Some of you will be, if not all, might be, recording the lesson. Okay, but if I were you, I'd rather take down notes. Okay, lahi ra jud class og ikaw mo'y nag-take down notes, nagsuwat ka diha sa imong notes, and then you will read it because there is that sense of connection between you and your notes. Same is true with your other subjects. Okay? Although you might be a different learner now because you are digital natives. Okay? When you were born, pagkataon ninyo diha naman ni siya, nakamatngon mo og buot nga establish na ang ato ang mga internet, ang atong technology karon, no? One reason also why we look that into as far as TCW is concerned. Okay, so I think that would be all for this morning, and just keep yourself posted for whatever announcement we will have for Friday. Okay, and perhaps next week also, especially Monday. Okay, so that would be all for today. Good morning and goodbye, everyone.
Thank you so